This is question number 16 on the November 2014 non-calculator paper. So, starting off, let's read the question. There are 200 workers in a factory. That's always useful to know. The cumulative frequency table gives the information about their ages. And part A says, on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for this information. And there's 2 marks for it. One of the things you need to make sure you recognize is the fact that they've given you the cumulative frequency here. So it's not the frequency. You don't need to add up the values. They've done that for you already. Okay, so we need to go straight to the graph and we have to plot this information. So I'm going to put this to one side. I'm going to get the graph and I'm going to start plotting my information on the graph. What I need to make sure that you are aware of is that you plot the upper bounds, and they've given you these values already. So when I get the graph, I'm going to go to 20 on the age axis, which would be down at the bottom, and then go up to 25, and then do the same, put crosses on all the points, and then draw my curve. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and they've given you 2 marks for that. Okay, so here's the curve. If we look at the bottom end of the curve, I've got age, and then I've got the cumulative frequency on this side. So we're going to plot this bit of information. I'm looking at the table, and where it says the age is 20 or less than 20, the cumulative frequency is 25. Now I could see the scale is going to be a bit tricky. 25 is going to be halfway between 20 and 30. So I need to go up this and then to there. I'm going to put a cross at that point, and that's 25. The next one, it's 30, and I go up to 70. So I'm looking at the scale. I'm going to go all the way up to 70, and there's my next cross. I'm going to use my ruler to help guide me up this. Right, the next one is 40. I need to go up to 138. So I'm going to pull down the graph a bit. I'm going to go to 138. So there's 130. Now the scale, there are 5 squares between them. It's 10 altogether. So that means each square goes up in 2s. So that's 132. 34, 36, 38. So 138 is going to be at this point here, and put a cross there. Then it says from 50, so I'm going to put my ruler there, line it up, and the cumulative frequency for 50 is 175. So I'm going to go up to 175. 175 is halfway between 170 and 180, so work my way across, and there's that point, across there. The next point is 60, and 60 goes up to 186, so if I do that, 180, 82, 84, 86, to work my way across. And then just there. Then 70 goes up to 194. So 190, 92, 94, making my way across. And finally 80, lined up with my ruler, and that goes up to 200, which is that last point. So these are the points on the graph, and if I just zoom out, you can see the whole graph at this stage. Now I just need to draw my curve. So I'm going to draw a curve going through all the points here, and it is a curve. Don't connect them with straight lines. I'm going to move the paper around and try to draw a smooth curve going through all the points. It doesn't need to be a work of art, but you need to make sure that you draw the curve nonetheless. Okay, so there is my cumulative frequency graph going through all the points. Now, there's only 2 marks for this. It has taken some time, but I was taking care. I was making sure that I was precise. I went through all the points. In part B of the question, it says, Graham says that 10% of workers at the factory are older than 65. So, is Graham correct? You must show how you got your answer. And by the must show how you got your answer, they want you to use the cumulative frequency curve and any workings that you've done. So in terms of working, we know from the question, earlier in the question, the very first line indicated to us that there are 200 workers in the factory. Okay, so 10% of workers are older than 65. That's what Graham said. And we're going to use that and the fact that there are 200 workers in the factory. So 10% of 200 is 20. So 20 workers. He reckons 20 workers in the factory are older than 65. I'm going to use my cumulative frequency graph to check this. So this is my cumulative frequency graph. If we zoom out to look at the whole graph, okay, now according to what he said, he reckons that 20 workers are older than 65. So I'm going to go along to the axis at the bottom here, and as you can see, right, it reads 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are their ages. 65 is halfway between 60 and 70. So I'm going to have to show a lot of care with this, because I'm going to draw a line in that gap, in that halfway mark, and go up to my curve. And you can't see the full thing, but I'll draw the line first and then I'll show you what I've done. I've gone all the way up to the cumulative frequency curve. So you can see that line there. If I pull it down, that line starts off from 65. So I've gone from 65 all the way up to the curve. And it meets the curve at that point there. And if I work my way across to take a reading, it's fairly obvious what the reading is, but the question did say, show how you got your answer. So I'm going to draw this line going across, and it comes out here at 190. If I think back to what the statement was, 10% of workers are older than 65. How many workers, according to the cumulative frequency graph, are older than 65? It's that gap there. How many from 190 up to 200? So in other words, 200 take away 190, that is 10. According to my graph, 10 workers are older than 65 years old. I'm going to go back to the question itself. So back at the question, I'm going to put from the graph, 10 workers are older than 65 years. Okay, so let's answer the question. Is Graham correct? So no, Graham is not correct. 10% of workers are not older than 65 years. Because 10% of workers is 20 workers. From the graph, we only got 10 workers older, so he is not correct. That last bit is not quite tricky. You just need to make sure you read it, you understand it, and you are able to read off the graph to find out how many workers are older than 65. They're just asking this question in a slightly different way. These are very popular. Make sure you are able to do it and get full marks in it.